want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. Based on Matthew chapter 6, verse 15, can my forgiveness or salvation be revoked if I die without forgiving somebody? This is a great question. And later on, Matthew chapter 18, the Lord commissions us to forgive 70 times 7, this enormous number of forgiveness that we are to grant. But let's admit it, it's a struggle, it's difficult, and at times there's things that have been done to us, done to others, that we have a really hard time forgiving. It's tough. Well, that being said, let's talk about Matthew 6:15 in the context. This is the Sermon on the Mount, an incredible passage where Jesus lays out all these fabulous, phenomenal teachings. But I want to approach it maybe from a little different perspective. For years, many people, in fact, those that I've listened to that I hold in high esteem, claim that it's this thesis for Christian living. You know, that we shouldn't hate in our heart, much less murder. We shouldn't commit adultery in our mind, much less with our body. We should forgive even if we don't want to, etc., etc. Here's the problem. There's not anybody that was listening to the Sermon on the Mount there that day that was a born-again believer in Jesus Christ. These were all Jews living under the law. You say, why is that important? Because the Sermon on the Mount, from my perspective, is not so much telling me how to live life, although it does, is really it exposes how I've sinned in so many different ways. And let me challenge you. Read the Sermon on the Mount, and with this aspect, read every paragraph, every story of, ooh, I've messed up there. Ooh, I've slipped there. Yeah, I've been tempted to do that. And by the time you get to the end, you know what you'll discover? You've got a sin problem. I got a sin problem. We all have this sin problem, which is why how it ends, the Sermon on the Mount, is so important. Jesus tells a story about two different people who build a house. One builds it on the rock, one builds it on the sand. And he says, and the rains will come. All throughout Scripture, 1 Corinthians 10, for example, says that Jesus Christ is that rock. And so I believe the Sermon on the Mount isn't so much telling us we don't forgive somebody, we're going to hell. I think it's telling us that because we have not forgiven somebody, we desperately need Jesus. This is one of many aspects that rightfully makes us qualified for hell. It's not just the forgiveness one, there's a lot of them. So again, Jesus as the rock, Jesus as the foundation is the message, the point of the Sermon on the Mount. I believe that everything leading up to it, including this verse, is the evidence of why we desperately need Him. Great question. If you have one, send it to AskJeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at AskJeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.